element that we're going to explain is setting. And a setting is where and when the story takes place. Okay, so in this story, the story is set in a large mansion that's passed down by Aegeus' ancestors. The mansion is old, dark, and gray, which this is a very popular setting for Edgar Allan Poe's stories and poems, and sometimes longer stories. The story has a dark and gloomy atmosphere, and another setting within the story is Aegeus' own personal library chamber filled with his own library contents. And the library only has one door in and one door out. And so usually with a mystery novel, not necessarily written by Edgar Allan Poe, but many mystery novels, when you only have one door in and one door out, it's kind of like that suspense for the audience that, you know, if you go into that room and somebody's after you, or you're stuck in that room, there's only one way in and one way out, and if you're stuck, then you can't go in or you can't go out. So it's just kind of a suspense for the audience, and the story is set in this large mansion, which is also kind of a suspense. Most of Edgar Allan Poe's stories, like Fall of the House of Usher, that story that we will be reading is also set in a dark, gloomy house, big mansion. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next element, and our next slide is the point of view. Point of view describes the narration of the story, or who is telling the story. So the narration in the story is first person. Okay, so first person narration is written in the context of the narrator. Our narrator is Aegeus, who's telling the story. The use of I or we, you find these I or we, I put them in quotes, so that's probably an important thing that you need to write down, is used throughout the story to create the first person point of view. Okay, our narrator is considered unreliable because of his insanity and mental weakness. The short story is not about what actually happened, but what the narrator is telling us that happened, is what the narrator believes to have happened in the story.